Imagine this. You've got $10,775 sitting in your trading account. Not 100,000, not a million. And in less than 2 years, that account turns into $42 million. No crypto, no startup exit, no lucky break, just trading stocks. The man behind this is Dan Zanger. And here's the crazy part. He wasn't some kind of financial genius. Not even close. Before all of this, he was just a pool contractor fixing swimming pools for wealthy clients in Beverly Hills. Long before Wall Street knew his name, before any headlines, Dan was on his own, trying to figure it all out. During the day, he worked construction jobs. But at night, he studied, obsessively, reading everything he could get his hands on, breaking down charts, trying to understand how the market really works. He didn't just read casually. He went deep, studying how the great traders before him actually made money. A trader who understood something most people don't. The market isn't just numbers. It's people. It's fear. It's greed. It's behavior repeating itself over and over again. And that's when something clicked for Dan. One of the biggest influences on him was Jesse Livermore. The market isn't random. It's not chaos. It's a language. And charts are how you read it. So he kept going for years, not weeks, not months, years. Over 30 hours a week just studying charts, printing them out, drawing trend lines, marking patterns, again and again. One day, someone asked him, "What are you even doing?" Dan said, "I'm trying to understand how the market really works." The response? A warning. You know people lose everything doing this, right? Homes, jobs, families. Is that going to be you? Dan didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He just smiled. Because by then, he was already used to the doubt. He stopped caring what people thought. Because he understood something simple. The market doesn't care about your feelings. So why should you care about theirs? Every morning he had a routine. He'd open Investor's Business Daily, page after page of numbers, stock names, prices, volume. To most people, it was just a bunch of numbers. But to Dan, it was a story. He started asking better questions. Which stocks are moving the fastest? Which ones are building up? Which ones are about to explode? And over time, he stopped seeing numbers. He started seeing behavior, patterns, clues, because the market always leaves clues. Years of this kind of focus changed the way he saw everything. His instincts got sharper, his eye got trained. And eventually, his moment came. Late 1990s, the dot-com boom. The internet was exploding. New tech companies were popping up everywhere. People were talking about a new era, a world that would live online. And the market? It went insane. The NASDAQ was flying. Stocks were going up 30% in a week, 100% in months. Companies nobody had ever heard of were suddenly everywhere. It felt like the entire world was talking about stocks. Restaurants, taxis, even people who had never invested before were jumping in. You could buy a stock, watch it double, then double again. It felt like history was unfolding in real time. But here's what most people missed. After 6 years of studying, Dan saw something different. These stocks, they weren't random. They were forming the exact patterns he had studied for years. Bases, breakouts, volume surges, it was all there. It felt familiar, like a song he already knew. And for the first time, he truly understood what Livermore meant. Markets change, stocks change, people change. But human nature never does. While everyone else was rushing in, Dan didn't jump. He waited. He watched. One setup, then another, until everything lined up. Clean, clear, obvious. He had one rule. If it's not clear, he doesn't trade. Sounds simple. But in the market, that's the hardest thing to do. Because when prices start moving, you feel it. That urge, that fear of missing out. But Dan didn't chase. He waited until the moment was right. And then he made his move. Fast, decisive. Like a predator that knows exactly when to strike. He entered at the breakout, right as the stock moved out of its base. But he stayed disciplined. If a stock had already run too far, he skipped it. No chasing. No FOMO. Because he knew something most traders ignore, there's always another opportunity. Now here's the part most people don't expect. Dan lost trades. A lot of them. But he still made millions. Why? Because he cut his losses fast. No hesitation. If the trade failed, he was out. If it broke his rules, he was out. No hope. No, just give it a little more time. He once said, "I lost a lot of money when I didn't follow my trend lines." After that, he never broke that rule again. When a stock went up 15, 20%, he didn't just sit there. He took some profit, 20, maybe 30% off the table. And that changed everything. Because once you've locked in gains, you think differently. You're calmer, more in control. And that's how he held on to the big winners. The ones that went 300%, 500%, even 1,000%. He didn't buy everything, only the strongest stocks. If something started to weaken, he sold it and moved the money into something stronger. He treated his portfolio like a competition. Only the winners stayed. He also understood something critical. Stocks don't move alone. They move in groups. If one sector is hot, money flows into all of them. So he kept asking, where is the big money going? And he followed it. When the market started to change, he didn't argue with it. He adapted. If things looked weak, he got out fast. And every day, he watched volume. Because volume tells you one thing, what the big players are doing. If price moves without volume, be careful. But when price and volume move together, that's when things get interesting. After years of discipline, he stuck to his rules. No exceptions, no emotions. And the result, according to multiple sources, his account grew from $10,775 to $18 million in just 18 months, and eventually over $40 million in under 2 years. One of the most incredible trading runs ever recorded. Dan Zanger quickly made a name for himself on Wall Street, becoming one of the most talked about traders of that era. But if you asked him what really mattered, it wasn't the money. It was the journey, the years in his garage, the failures, the blown accounts, the long nights, just him and the charts, the books, the lessons, the thousands of hours no one ever saw. Because in the end, that's what made the difference. Dan once said, "Success in trading doesn't come from one trade. It comes from thousands of hours of preparation that no one sees." The market is full of incredible stories. Dan Zanger's journey reminds us of something simple. The biggest opportunities in life usually come to those who've spent years preparing for them, and they rarely come around twice. What about you? What do you think about the ideas and lessons from Dan Zanger in this video? Are you getting ready for your next big opportunity? How are you preparing? What principles have helped you succeed in the past and continue to guide you today and into the future? Drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. You'll find book links about Dan Zanger in the description. And don't forget to subscribe. More great videos are on the way. The market always offers opportunities if we know how to prepare and how to act when they come. And finally, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Your time and attention mean a lot, and I truly appreciate having you here as part of this community.